Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio. What? It's not just me. I feel like it was just this weird thing that Zoom started doing. They wanted to let you know.
Oh, there it is.
Dive right in.
Hello.
Hello.
That is the best way to enter into anything like this.
I really think so. I think you just gotta just go for it. You gotta make some noise. Just make sure you're there.
Amen to that. just gotta go for it.
Oh man,
Just launch straight into it.
It's been a little bit, I'd
Yeah.
say, since we recorded the 77.
Yep.
A couple of weeks at least, and we've officially, we've wrapped up. We saw the Fast and Furious that
There we
week,
go.
so there's that. We
think it was
Loki just wrapped up, so that's big.
I've seen the end of it. Jared hasn't.
I have not, so shut up, hot dogs.
Shut up, please.
Shut up, please. And what else we got, man? We got movies creeping up as the summer kind of goes on.
We're gonna talk Black Widow this episode.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Just I don't know. It's just a weird hodgepodge time. Like,
I know.
There's like there's
Weird
movies,
award nominations.
Yeah, there's weird stuff going on, and like award season, especially like what's Emmys
long
right
over,
now, right?
right?
Like it's like who
fucking cares?
I've never felt like super compelled.
No.
I think maybe like once or twice, like back in the day, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna watch the Oscars. And
Yeah,
then
I
like
know.
you get like a little bit into it, and you're like, "This is fucking stupid." Like
You know,
I don't
one
care
of my-
for the pageantry.
One of my favorite YouTubers, a guy named Eddie Burback. And I actually think you would really like him.
Eddie,
Eddie Burback, check us out, plug us.
I know you're listening.
He he does sort of like commentary videos.
Okay.
He'll choose a subject and talk about it. Nice. He did one on award shows, and I totally agree with him. It's like the pretentiousness and the pageantry of it just sucks.
Yeah.
But then he was like, "There's one pure award show."
What's that?
And that is the Kids' Choice Awards, as hosted by Jack Black in the early 2000s.
Fair, man. Fair.
And it's like, it's because the pageantry is gone.
it's just
It's
joy.
the celebrities are having a good time.
It's just
It is
joy.
truly the people chose.
Yeah.
And the fuckers got slimed.
Fair enough, man. And they got slimed. Yeah. I was watching not that long ago. I watched this documentary called The Orange Years, which was about how Nickelodeon got started.
Interesting.
And yeah, it was a really awesome documentary. And for somebody who grew up with Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
as that was all happening, like it was really fucking like Nickelodeon. I know, I was one of those kids that definitely was raised a little bit on TV, I'd say.
Same here.
And
I think I leaned a bit more into Cartoon Network, though, when I was a kid.
yeah, Cartoon Network, like for me, it was like Nickelodeon was like what was really starting to pop off, and Cartoon Network kind of came. I don't know if this is exactly right, but from my perspective, then it sort of came from Nickelodeon in a
Yeah.
way, where it was like Nickelodeon was doing all these weird shows and stuff like that, and they saw it and people were taking notice, and so Cartoon Network at the time was mostly just syndicating and rerunning Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera
Yeah.
cartoons, and which was awesome,
Yeah.
honestly, because that's how I got exposed to a lot of those older
yeah.
cartoons. But then they started like doing.
What was the
Fucking hell,
network
dude.
that did Boomerang? Was that Nickelodeon?
No, Boomerang was Cartoon Network.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
they spun that off after they started making their own originals.
Yeah, exactly. So Cartoon Network did
Great name.
Cartoon,
Yeah.
which was like this show which featured segments
Yeah.
of cartoons, and that's where shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Cow and Chicken,
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls,
Courage the
Johnny
Cowardly Dog.
Bravo, Courage, like all those shows kind of got their start
Yep.
through that show, and then that
This is-
branched off into like its own fucking thing.
This is where me and Jared, you can see our decade difference in years here, because I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about there. I know all the shows you reference because
Yeah.
I grew up with them,
Yeah.
but like my shit on Cartoon Network was like Ben 10.
Yeah, no, totally. It's because I saw Cartoon Network getting like growing
Yeah.
actively, and by the time like like shows like Ben 10 started popping around,
Yeah.
like they were like pretty solid in their operation at that
Yeah,
point.
they
So
had, like-
they were like an established
They'd
channel now,
isolated themselves from. They were not really. They'd actually turned into a competitor of Nickelodeon.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Nickelodeon, like that was like the thing. Like
Also, Cartoon Network did a bunch of fucking anime.
Oh, dude, Cartoon Network, when they started getting into anime, let's not even fucking talk about Toonami. Or Toonami was the fucking shit. Me and my brothers would, like, every goddamn day, we would, like, wait for Toonami to drop.
Yeah.
Because that's when you saw Dragon Ball Z, that's when you saw
yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho, you know, like, all these fucking awesome shows.
You know-
There's just one I can't remember. It was about these, like, I don't know, they were, like, they would basically, like, summon the samurai armor, but it was kind of like like a sci-fi tech show.
Interesting.
But
I'm
like,
trying to
yeah,
remember what you're talking about.
They had, I mean, I
think-
probably just called Ronin or something like
was
that.
it?
I
There was
think.
one that was called like Code Lyoko or something like that.
Oh man, I
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I kind of
It's like deja vu, right?
But like it's, yeah, dude.
I
So much
remember-
stuff got started. Like,
I remember
for me there,
fucking-
man.
Cartoon Network was my shit because like as a kid when I was really young I'd watch Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Oh, dude, Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Courage the Cowardly Dog freaked me out.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was fucking weird. Ed, Ed, and Eddie was fucking like had this like sort of creepy vibe to it.
Yeah.
In this way where it's like, and have you like ever read some of those fan stories?
Oh, where it's all the kids are dead.
Yeah,
type
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Like, and it kind
Yeah.
of works out, and you're just like, God damn, that's fucking weird, man. And then you
Eerie
start thinking
shit.
about it in that light, and you're like, ugh, I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah. And then,
yeah, man.
man, yeah, there's that. And then, yeah, I watched all the fucking anime. I'd watch fucking Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah.
I'd watch Code Lyoko. I'd watch the Pokemon was on Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then, but then I'd go to Nickelodeon as a kid. I'd watch SpongeBob and I'd watch that fucking incredible early 2000s Ninja Turtle show.
Oh yeah, the 2002 when it started, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Fuck
That was
yes.
aside from the. I am a huge goddamn Ninja Turtles fan, and aside from.
That's the best shit.
Yeah, I mean, like if I have to put like any like the works that I enjoy, it'd probably go like live action TMNT.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so hard. Like I honestly I love the original 80s series, but like some of the fun action and stuff that was had in that early 2000s series was really awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like equally like you had some fun moments,
Yep.
but you actually had some like really kind of serious like Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtle kicking butt kind of like storylines, and that was really
I know.
cool.
And there was some weird shit in it too.
Oh, dude, they did. They went deep with that, man. Like, cause people always forget like turtles, like, and the turtles end up dealing with like intergalactic aliens. Like,
Yeah.
they end up like, dealing with
Krang.
like the fucking triceratons from a different universe and shit like that. You know.
You know, I remember
Like,
what
yeah.
there was one series before I sort of fell off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where it went a bit too far, and there's one like string of seasons where they like got shot to the future or something,
yeah, I remember that.
and everybody knew who they were, and they were like celebrities.
Yeah,
and
It was weird. It was that show was that the story was interesting. But it
I
was,
remember it was interesting, and then they like but then like the series continued and they went back in time, but then
Yeah.
they were like going into cyberspace type shit.
Yeah,
and I fell off from there.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like, unfortunately, I feel like that's kind of similar to what happened to like the 80s series where it was like,
Got a bit too big for itself.
yeah, they jumped the shark. They,
Jumped the shark.
they went too big, and like next thing you knew, like it was, I don't know, like you had to stretch your imagination too far to like really
Yeah.
get into the stories.
Yeah,
And
these
like,
fucking turtles.
yeah, these damn turtles just need to be turtle soup already. I'm over this.
These
But,
turtles
yeah,
eating
dude,
pizza.
But
They
I love Teenage Mutant Ninja
So do
Turtles,
I.
man. Like, that's why it was so disappointing to see like that they tried to revitalize that live action shit with Michael Bay, and it was
Oh my
just-
god.
it looked
Did
like
you see-
garbage from the get go, and then they just shoved out another one.
So
you know what I mean?
Alan and supposedly the second one actually isn't bad.
the second one's not any better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah, like
So-
I watched it with the same horror as like I watched like one of the Wolverine Origins movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was it? There's not you're gonna think it's fucking Snape, but there's a dude named like Alan Rickson or something like that. You know who I'm talking about? It's like uncanny how close his name is.
Is he like the guy? Is he like the guy that's always like a background character?
Yeah,
He's
he
like a
played
side
Aquaman in
character?
Smallville.
Oh shit.
And he's
Was
been in like a ton of shit, but never been a leading man.
This is what would be the define? Is he in the Dark Knight?
Maybe
Because in the Dark Knight there's like the bank teller or the guy that runs the bank, where the Joker robs.
no, it's not that guy.
Not that guy.
No.
That guy's like okay. That's the guy I'm picturing for some reason. Because that's another guy. That's another like character, like small character actor who's just done so many.
Alan
fucking
Richson,
Richson.
not
Show me a picture. Show me a
this
picture.
guy. This guy. I actually think he's in Titans now.
Oh yeah, that guy. That guy. He is. He's in Titans. He plays Hawk in Titans.
So he voiced Raphael
Oh, that makes
for
sense.
those
Yeah,
animated
yeah,
films.
okay.
And he did an interview talking about how much of a nightmare it was.
Oh, I did see that actually. Yeah. It sounded like it was
Like he didn't even get invited to like the red carpet.
exactly like it was like kind of like you got snubbed. The
Yeah.
characters themselves are really popular, but
But-
the people that brought them to life were just
Yeah,
like kind
but
of
fucking
shoved aside.
Megan Fox and Arrow got to be the fucking leading men.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
To be
Hey,
frank,
Chris
I
Evans was
thought-
the best Casey Jones. 2002, man.
Was he really?
Yeah. And then when they did that like 3D animation film like
Yeah, yeah.
TMNT in
Yeah.
like 2006, he also voiced Casey
Oh
Jones.
shit! I never realized that.
That's Chris Evans.
I don't know. I mean, like, I didn't mind Stephen Amell being cast as Casey Jones,
But it was a whole lot of it wasn't a whole lot of nothing.
well, yeah, and it was. Just
I
like,
watched
it was
that
like
movie at some point,
They
but it's
basically
almost
just
completely gone.
like it was like the role was his because he could do the stunts, or something like the basic ass stunts that they were having Casey Jones
On
perform in that.
rollerblades.
And so it was like, yeah, and so it was like, I guess that makes sense, and that's
Yeah.
that was like Amell's like appeal when he got the Arrow role. I think was like,
Yeah,
was
he's-
like he was like kind of like
Practicality.
yeah, you can do some parkour and shit.
Yeah. And the CW don't have that stunt budget.
God no, dude. The CW, like the CW, just takes things and, like they honestly most of the time they start off in an all right place, and then it's just like, for some reason they just go so far down like the relationship rabbit hole with these
Yeah.
characters that it just fucks up the whole thing.
Yeah. It's
Like-
the whole like you need to know when to stop.
Absolutely.
And
The first season of Arrow had a really good sort of tone to it, and that kind of carried into the second season. It got less in the third, and then eventually it was just like it was just fucking hot garbage.
yeah.
But it started off in a good place, and same thing with the Flash show. The Grant Gustin, the guy that plays the Flash,
Yeah.
is a shockingly good Barry Allen.
Yeah.
But
That show got a lot of love initially, but now it's on like season 7 and
Yeah.
all I hear is terrible things.
Yeah, because again, they went into that rabbit hole where it's like they started off with this sort of like fun comic booky show,
Yeah.
which was like had some good comedic like moments, and then they just made it like way too heavy into the relationship drama.
Yep.
They started regurgitating storylines.
Yep.
Like, and it just became classic CW bullshit.
Yeah, it just became meaningless fluff on an
Yeah,
annual basis.
And that sucks. Like that sucks.
Speaking of franchises that need to know when to stop, potentially.
Well, potentially, this might just be kicking it off.
It might have stopped, but this might be the fucking the fucking shock that
Yeah.
brings it back to life.
The Suicide Squad, man.
Oh, what a hard and just gratuitous segue that was.
The Suicide Squad, like we've talked about it before. This movie, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they've really started painting the picture of what the movie might like have
Yeah.
in terms of like the storyline, which doesn't make it any less appealing so far. Sometimes when trailers start dropping and they start giving away way too much, it takes away like the mystique of the movie.
You know,
this still
we're
looks
still
fun.
not getting much from the trailers that we see though.
The only thing you really know is that Starro is probably the big bad, is being
Yeah.
controlled by somebody, and like the Suicide Squad has to deal with that.
Yep.
Like, and like that.
Cool
that-
with it.
Yeah, that totally seems fine. Like I 100% want to see that basic ass movie if that's all it
Yeah.
is. But there's more to it because James Gunn is involved.
Yeah.
And so he's cramming a lot into this.
Before we're gonna watch a recent trailer. They're putting out like a trailer every fucking 3 hours. It feels like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before we watch this, they did announce that Peacekeeper finished shooting.
Oh,
Less
sweet.
than a year after it was pitched, it's done shooting,
Wow. They
which
really
is a
pushed that.
crazy turnaround.
They really pushed that through, man.
I know.
That's nuts.
I wonder.
That shows that they have faith in this project.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean?
Here's my thing though. DC is just not. I'm still torn on if they're gonna get it right because we constantly see them interfering with stuff that would work,
Yeah.
and it's
That's true.
or
It's so fucking true.
and I have faith in James Gunn,
Mm-hmm.
but if he was ever not in the editing room, I immediately feel a bit unsure about it.
Yeah.
Because we have to remember the Suicide Squad, or Suicide Squad 1 trailers looked really fucking good.
Yeah.
It looked like a good movie from the trailers. I was so excited, and I went and I watched it, and I was so fucking disappointed.
Yeah, and that's been pretty consistent, right? Like from Man of Steel forward, like
I
the
know.
trailers have always looked really, really solid.
Yeah.
And very rarely have they matched the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Shazam might be the only example. right?
Shazam.
Aquaman, maybe. Aquaman was exactly what I expected from watching the trailers.
Yeah.
I don't know if I personally would watch it again.
Yeah.
But like I will see Aquaman 2 when it hits HBO.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I mean, like, I feel like DC, hopefully, like, other than Shazam and the first Wonder Woman, and the goodwill I had for the first Wonder Woman was blown because of 84.
84 ruined it, man.
84 ruined Wonder Woman for me, and if they make another one, it's gonna have to be really good to give me faith in Patty Jenkins again.
Yeah.
And just DC in general.
Yeah. Well,
But
and Gal Gadot is like right on the verge of being fucking. She's the next victim of cancel culture. I swear to God.
yeah.
And I mean, not necessarily in an unjust way, but you know,
Who knows?
She might be up there.
The
So, I'm
but-
looking forward to that series ending.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things of like, will DC, if they keep fucking with their shit, they're just going to lose goodwill. It makes
Yeah.
you really, I really like Shazam.
Mhm.
Aquaman is exactly what you expect,
Totally.
but those, like, there's sequels of both those coming out, and they could both potentially suck.
Yeah, like
And
I mean,
I
those
feel-
movies were fairly flat to begin with.
We're
and-
going to
and-
talk about Black Widow,
for sure.
but
Yeah, this
I-
isn't just about DC, folks.
yeah, we're going to talk, we both watched Black Widow. We're going to talk about that. But going into a Marvel film, I at least expect pure, like, average 6 to 7 out of 10 at worst, you know? Going to a DC film, I genuinely think this might suck.
Yeah, it's yeah. At least with Marvel films, like your baseline is that you'll be entertained.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The worst Marvel movies are still pretty entertaining.
But with DC, you're absolutely right. Where it's like you walk into the theater with this vibe of like, I'm either gonna fucking hate this movie and be bored, or it might be entertaining.
You know, it's like how
it's a really bad bar to set.
Batman
man.
vs
They fucked it
Superman
up.
has 0 moments of levity, and in my opinion, barely a reason to exist.
Yeah, it really is.
Beyond, it presents interesting ideas, but it doesn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
At least in Thor: The Dark World, it's fucking funny, and there's moments of levity.
Definitely.
And like Thor putting the hammer on a coat hanger.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
funny bit, or all the like teleporting madness. It's fun.
But yeah, they DC just didn't match it because
It's just a lesser quality even at worst.
yeah,
So-
you know, and they keep like doing weird things like. You know, like somehow it just doesn't seem to be working out. Like the actors that you get really excited about end up hating the roles that they're in.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know if that's like pressure because of the roles, or if it's pressure because the studios are trying to like, you know, like force
Milk 'em.
them. Well, it's like, you know, like Chris Evans was like he
Chris
was
Evans
Captain America.
Chris
you know
Evans
what I mean?
appeared as Captain America for 6 years straight.
Robert Pattinson doesn't want to be Batman outside
Exactly.
of that movie, you know, and
but he always will be.
He will. But actually, I was just reading some things like that Robert Pattinson was kind of like leaving, like sort of hinting at the fact that he doesn't want to work with Matt Reeves ever again.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that didn't make me feel very good about the movie coming up. I was
Who
like,
knows?
damn it, dude.
Hey, it could be like a Kubrick situation
Yeah, fair.
where Kubrick made great movies, but he fucking tortured the people
Hey,
he worked
man,
with.
Vin Diesel pushed The Rock to be a better actor, okay?
Oh my god. Let's watch the
Yeah,
Suicide
let's just
Squad
wa-
trailer.
Speaking of that, we're gonna dive into the Suicide Squad trailer. Yeah, we found
This-
this.
This is King Shark.
Yeah, there's like some like it looks like they're maybe doing like character trailers.
Who knows?
And so they dropped the King Shark one, which King Shark just seems like it's going to be a fun character in the movie.
Yeah. I like that they got Stallone.
Yeah, exactly. Although
Is
Stallone,
it fucking loading?
I heard
Oh, there we go.
Stallone just recently released this like video that people are like saying are claiming has shows him like lifting fake weights.
Ha!
I was like, damn, dude, that's hard. I mean, I'm not like the Stallone, you know, for what it's worth.
Oop, we got an ad running here.
For what?
The
Oh,
fuck?
you have it down. For what it's worth, Stallone is a ripped old man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the guy that goes up to him and be like, "Yeah, this one video you were faking like your fucking weights, weren't you, asshole?"
Fuck? We're getting no audio.
What the hell?
What the fuck?
Was this is strange? Very strange. Well,
Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties.
yeah. I don't know what
Matinee
that's about.
Edition. Old Heart Radio. We're watching a trailer right now. It has subtitles and it's filmed vertically.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The fuck is happening?
I don't know.
Is it plugged into
It's
something?
legitimately not like even acknowledging the fact that the volume buttons work on my computer. So.
Son of a bitch. All right, well, we'll watch some other time.
We'll watch it some other time.
The Suicide Squad looks good, is what we're trying to say. But I am still reluctant to give it a clean bill of health before I see it.
Yeah, you know, I think it's gonna be an entertaining movie. I
Yeah.
just don't. I'm not gonna like get roped into caring about like the franchise yet or
Exactly.
the
It's
characters
not-
that are
it's-
involved. You know.
It's just not there yet.
No,
The,
it's not, and that's kind of like the thing. It's like I don't want to dive into that anymore with DC. You know?
Yeah.
Even with characters I know and are iconic, like I still don't want to
Yeah.
really just like give them the benefit of the doubt with my attention anymore, which seems strange.
The I think it's interesting the just how quickly that sort of apathy set in. You know?
Yeah.
It's incredible that we've just begun to stop fucking caring about DC already.
Well, and that's the thing, man. It's like to me, you know, no hate on Marvel.
Oh, we got it.
Characters or anything. It's just that. Like I've always been more attached to DC characters.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's a really big deal that
Just can't
they've-
make it work.
They've like broken my trust
I know.
as a fan, as somebody who's spent nerding amounts of time writing about reading about
Yeah.
it's just like
Di-
it does suck. And it's just-
digesting that content.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense like how they could keep doing the same like they're
keep doing-
they're
they keep
performing
making
in
the same mistakes.
way. It's like beating your head against a wall over
Yeah.
and over and over.
So hopefully
But
this changes the tide.
Speaking of beating your head against the wall, we finally have the
Have a-
volume situation figured out.
Okay, folks, if you go onto YouTube and search The Suicide Squad King Shark Trailer 2021, and it's on the Kino Check International YouTube channel, we are going to play right now in 3, 2, 1. Graphic logo. What the fuck?
Shark Week.
Yes, that is your hand. Very good.
I love this.
I love the fucking dubstep playing.
Ancient shark god.
Developed a taste for human meat.
Would you eat your friends?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
exactly. Short but sweet, really.
Yeah, short
I
but
just
sweet.
kind of went into like the other trailer, I suppose.
Yeah,
for it.
let's watch it. I don't think I watched this trailer.
But
You know,
one of the things I find very interesting about Cena's Peacekeeper is that he's really like a recent character.
yeah. It's Captain America with the toilet bowl on.
And a really bad attitude.
You know the deal. Give permission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
The fucking weasel.
Follow my orders in any way, and I
Weasel.
detonate an explosive device in the base of your skull.
I more than half these people are gonna die, right?
I'd imagine so. I'd imagine that like
America.
Yes, that is your hand.
there's only a very few people that are gonna make it through. Ratcatcher,
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man's probably gonna die.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man's probably gonna die.
Peacekeeper for sure is gonna make it through.
Yeah.
Idris Elba's character might make it through.
I think Bloodsport's gonna make it through.
Bloodsport, yeah. Weasel's probably gonna die, I imagine.
Peacekeeper's gonna make it through.
Yeah. King Shark.
I hope.
might make it through just because of the comedic value.
Harley's gonna make it through.
Harley is officially one of their only like
Winners.
long-term characters. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Man, I'm down for Captain Boomerang to make it through. There's a lot of hate for Jai Courtney. I feel like it's unjust.
Yeah, I mean, oh shit, Mongol. Yeah, you definitely actually see some action in this trailer. Like,
Starro! Honestly, a perfect villain.
well, yeah, dude, Starro, like, using Starro as the villain is such an interesting, like, dynamic. Or, here's the other thing. Either he's going to be the main villain, or that's going to be, like, one of the earlier on scenes. You know, like,
Yeah.
like perhaps the Suicide Squad did this at one point.
Yeah.
You know? But it looks like it's a main part of the movie, honestly. So
Yeah, it looks like it might be. Who knows?
August 6th, man, that's coming. That's coming
It's
up.
coming
That's
up.
coming
We'll have
up.
to watch it. We'll watch it together.
I definitely want to go see that one. That one's dropping in theaters too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We'll watch it or something.
I'd definitely be down to see that one in theaters.
So should we get down to the people we actually like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to talk about Black Widow. So,
Should we throw on the Black Widow trailer
we might as well.
just
Yeah.
to get our thoughts out of the way?
Pop it in.
Let's
Pop it
go.
in. Yeah, that's you know, it was
First off,
nice to finally watch it. I will say that, man.
Exactly.
There's so much.
did you say for the post credits?
I saw the post credit.
Good, good shit.
Yeah. Which was interesting because it was like, we'll just see this one.
Yeah, we'll just watch that one.
It was definitely
Actually.
sort of what I was like. I was expecting something like that in the post credits.
Yeah, as was I. I didn't expect it to tie as heavily into Disney Plus though. We're watching the trailer right now.
You're a science teacher.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is the good trailer, like very good rhythmic trailer.
Renovates houses.
Yeah, you know, overall,
Thinking about moving, but you're gonna wait until the interest rates go down.
How do you like
You know,
Florence
I-
Pugh?
she seems like a fine actress. She was definitely. I think she hit the notes that they wanted for her.
Yeah.
In order to make her like a long-term character.
Definitely
a
make-
longer-term character.
I'm definitely down with her sticking around.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I mean. Like, I think she really provided this kind of extra sort of like funny energy, but
Yeah.
like but she also was a really good, like in her,
She's a good performer.
yeah, in her like her fight scenes and stuff like that. She really like did pull it off.
Yeah.
It wasn't like laughing at like a comedian trying to fight or anything like
Exactly.
that, it was
She
like,
was
she was
witty.
convincing in both kinds of ways. You know?
Exactly.
Which I thought was cool.
There's our boy.
David Harbour was fucking awesome.
He was the shot in the arm I felt this movie needed when he showed up.
And
How do you feel about Iron Maiden?
Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
You know about Rachel Weisz?
Yeah, that's her character name.
Yeah. She was all right. She
Didn't really do much.
She was definitely like a lot more blah than I thought was gonna be,
Like your deadpan type acting.
which was all right. I definitely like.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a handful of things about this movie that didn't really like line up with my expectation of it, but
And
overall, it's definitely a big, fun Marvel movie though. And
Exactly.
that's like what we were talking about earlier. Baseline, if that's all you get from this movie, you still walked away with your money's worth.
Exactly.
And
I never, unlike when I watched Wonder Woman 84, where I wanted to turn it off at multiple points, but I
Yeah.
knew I had to record a podcast about it.
for the pod.
I'm doing this for the pod. This Black Widow, I enjoyed nearly the entire way through. There were
Yeah.
some slouches, and it was like, this is funny.
Don't slouch.
I fucking love the like pseudo family dynamic, and they're shooting vodka. But I feel like let's do non-spoiler for now. So non-spoiler Black Widow.
Yeah. You go. You go.
I give it a I feel like it is very liberal to give it a like 7 out of 10. You know? It's like a low 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it like.
You could even make an argument for like a 6.5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think 7's a good number. Like,
Yeah.
I would agree with you there because it was definitely
But all
no end game.
exactly. It's no Endgame. It's no Infinity War. It's no Civil War.
Yeah,
In my opinion, it's no Ant-Man.
it's the closest. I mean, like,
It
yeah,
falls.
It was
falls.
weird. It was like somewhere in between, like a movie. It had a lot of like Winter Soldier vibes
Yeah.
mixed with I don't know, kind of mixed with like like Ant-Man-esque type fun, but
Yeah, like heisty
in terms of like
almost.
character dialogue. But it definitely like it had trouble like finding its identity in those departments.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think that is an issue with it, but then I think the greater issue is the more meta culture around the MCU and how this movie came out and at the wrong time. So
Yeah. Well, expand on that.
So why don't we? Hey, so the biggest fucking spoiler is that Black Widow's already dead, and we already know she dies.
Yeah.
So it made me not get invested in the film. There was
Yeah.
I was most invested with the side characters because I genuinely thought Red Guardian was gonna die by the end of the film.
Same. I mean,
And-
look, going into this, I thought that scene with him and Taskmaster
He was gonna
squaring
get
up was
fucked.
like that was it. That was
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna see his demise.
But so I was really invested in the side characters, whether that was Yelena Belova or Iron Maiden or Red Guardian, because I was like, I might see these people again, or I might not.
Yeah.
But any moment where Black Widow herself was supposed to be a bit vulnerable or supposed to have some kind of risk, I knew she lived through this, but then died in Endgame.
Yeah.
So, and that ruined the stakes for me. It
Fair enough.
immediately lowered what could have been an incredibly suspenseful, like, spy thriller.
Yeah.
It
It
downgraded
did kinda,
it.
like, yeah. That's a good point. You know.
Even if you don't like, I think somebody, if you're taking somebody through who hasn't seen the MCU, and you're watching everything in order, and you just exclude the post-credit scene in this and show it to them right before Infinity War, they will be fucking down with this movie.
Fair enough.
I genuinely think in a bubble where you're unaware of the further continuity that's been established, this is a better movie.
Yeah. I could agree with that. Like, just, I mean, it is kind of like a little bit of a burst because you do know what happens to your main character
Exactly.
shortly after, and they even lean into this in the movie, where it's sort of like, General Ross is involved in the movie,
Yeah.
and the events are like specifically taking place after Civil War.
Yep. Enough that they do, this pisses me off. They do the Solo thing of like, here's an item of clothing.
Yeah.
Let's explain where it came from. So then somebody in a fucking trailer breakdown on YouTube can draw a red circle around it with an arrow saying Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. It's like they definitely played into that a bit. But I don't know if that was unexpected.
It
coming
wasn't
from this movie,
unexpected.
totally, because of what happened with the character in
Yeah.
Endgame.
me and Kate were talking about this, and I will definitely come off more critical than I actually am of it via the podcast because it's easier to point out the things it struggles with.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's definitely things I didn't like about it. Like the pacing of the movie
It was
was really
not well
garbage
paced.
because basically everything you saw trailer wise happened in really quick succession in the first half of the movie.
Yep. Which
what I mean?
I can respect that, but then
But-
it didn't maintain a steady pace.
Yeah, but exactly. It because of that, it just sort of it felt like you were cramming a bunch of moments into like one part of the movie, and then the rest of the movie was just like the moments that they had
That
left
were
over
not,
that
not
were
really
like,
as good trailer cutting material.
yeah, and so it's just sort of like I don't know. It did kind of like leave a little weird sort of like taste in my mouth because of
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? But
So let's go into some hard spoilers here then.
yeah.
How do we feel about Taskmaster?
Couple of things about that character that they tweaked. One was that it was like a PTSD scarred, riddled, like daughter of the guy running the Red Room.
Who Natasha had thought she had
Yeah,
killed as collateral
which
damage.
I thought was a really kind of like a cop out for the villain because that gave the villain and Black Widow an immediate connection that could be like exploited.
Yeah.
And they did do that, and it didn't really play necessarily into Black Widow's character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And-
It was too late of a bombshell to really impact the film.
Exactly. And it just like we talked about this in the build up to seeing this. Like I was really worried that Taskmaster would become a one-off villain, and I think that's what they did. I don't see Taskmaster as being really like brought forward anymore. Like maybe as like like they did with fucking Remy and made him Crossbones in another
Yeah.
thing. So like there's a brief fight scene between him and Captain America where he gets his ass kicked and like,
Yeah.
that's it. But Taskmaster is such a cool character and only building in popularity.
Yeah.
That it seems
Partially because of this.
exactly, but it didn't seem like they were giving longevity to the character.
Yeah.
Through what they had the plot line of this movie.
I think I agree with you a bit. I do think they could bring back this version of Taskmaster.
I definitely think they could. I don't know if they will.
I think they should, though, because I think, it's one of those things where I'm extremely conflicted on the direction they took that character, and it has nothing to do with the gender swap.
No, not at all. Like
not at all.
That was like, it was
Tony
the
and
same thing
Tonya,
with like
who
people
fucking cares?
being like, Loki's fucking bisexual. It's all celebrated. It's like,
Doesn't matter.
It's like Taskmaster's a fucking woman. Who gives a shit?
Who gives
He's
a shit?
Still kicking Black Widow's ass.
Taskmaster. Hey, one thing they nailed.
Man, woman, whatever it is. Like,
And like Taskmaster, I don't really know much about Taskmaster in the comics. I've only dabbled in it a bit.
Yeah.
But an incredibly intimidating presence on screen. Terminator-esque in this film.
Definitely. I do think like certain things like like you saw like the full character design going into it.
Yeah.
But I think the character design was less intimidating in the long scheme of the movie.
Yeah.
Things like the fact that like I don't know, it was really weird things for me. Like the fact that like the Taskmaster character used the hood that it had like once.
Yeah.
And then like the rest of the movie was just like we're walking around wearing a hoodie. And I was like, this is a really strange dynamic for a fucking villain. To be walking around wearing a hoodie all the time.
I thought
it's less intimidating.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like weird stuff like that. And like the character design itself, I didn't really initially like anyway.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of like
I have less of a problem with the character design because I didn't expect them to bring the fucking skull in the mix.
Yeah, I mean like the whole metal skull thing. I mean like
it's a bit much.
I didn't like it really that much to begin with, but like it's easier to accept than like a full like realistic skull on the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's still better than fucking like Whiplash.
Yeah, exactly. It's as a comic book fan, you have to make compromises.
Exactly. Not everything will work well on screen.
Exactly.
I think the physical presence was really good.
Definitely.
Because like especially when Taskmaster was like
menacing.
It was menacing. It was intimidating as fuck. I saw somebody already put in an edit on YouTube where it's playing like the Terminator theme that in the background. And it sounds fucking cool. And it works because it's just like an intimidating presence nonetheless.
Yeah.
Added to that intimidation is the fact that it's like Taskmaster is so heavily brainwashed that it doesn't fucking care about killing Natasha at some points.
Yeah.
Like it's just intimidating.
Just focused on the mission.
I would have loved to see more, and I would have loved that bombshell drop a bit earlier about Taskmaster's identity.
Yeah, and that's what I think about that bombshell. I think if they would have placed it sooner in the movie, it would have had a bigger impact.
Exactly.
But it just seemed like they kind of like tried to find another reason to make make Black Widow likable rather than like an assassin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's the whole thing of like, oh, there's red in her ledger, that type of shit. Which David Harbour's bit about your ledgers must be dripping.
Must be dripping with red.
It was so very funny. He was fucking hilarious.
I'll say this, like, I kind of agree with David Harbour in his sentiments, where he was talking about how he didn't necessarily like the idea of having to do like a fake Russian accent for this role rather than like maybe just speaking Russian.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes sense for the context of the movie, but there's so many different fake Russian accents.
I know.
That it was kind of hard to focus on some of that. And it was sort of laughable at times. Like Rachel Weisz, like straight up, like you could hear her English accent cutting through her fake Russian accent at times, and you realize, you're like, you tried.
Also,
like,
another criticism I have, it feels like you understand why Yelena is with Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
You understand why Red Guardian is with Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden should have been a bad guy. That
Yeah.
swap happened way too quick in my mind. Almost on the level of fucking Jacob in Fast 9. Like
it's true though, dude. Like like the entire movie, the character's in suspect.
Yeah.
It's like suspect, and then
She's
for
fucking.
like all of 5 minutes, it's like you're like, oh, okay, she's a good guy,
And then
there's,
she
like,
starts suffocating a pig.
yeah. And then she, you know, the entire time that this whole like dinner sequence is happening, you get the vibe that she's already like set off an alarm or done something, because she goes into like that side room and it's like, I'm just storing my gun.
And later she does say, "I've already alerted."
Yeah,
the Red
and then
Room."
when she finally admits it, you're just like, why can't you just commit to being the villain, like a villain at that point? Because
And you know, yeah,
yeah, I don't know, it just
I
it
was ta-
didn't seem like a good.
I was talking to
character
Kate
turnaround.
about that, and she's like, "It is, like, the movie is going with that angle and sort of referencing human trafficking and the exploitation of young girls and the brainwashing of
Well, yeah,
of people and the indoctrination that comes with
yeah,
some
but,
just."
I mean,
It
yeah.
would have made the themes more impactful if we saw somebody past the point of no return that wasn't actively brainwashed. And this is something Kate mentioned to
Yeah.
me. And she was like, you know, if she had been so gaslighted through her entire life that she had genuinely started to believe in what the Red Room was doing, and she had just become another one of their pawns, and
it would have made for a sadder character.
It would
you
have
know what
made
I mean?
for
you would
a
have
really-
you would have attached yourself better.
yeah, it would have been incredibly tragic, because you can picture that moment of like assuming she's brainwashed,
Yeah, and
but
instead,
she's not.
Instead, they do give you like a little bit of that,
Just a bit.
where, you know, like she like alludes to like being really uncomfortable with this dude, like the way he like touches her or something like that.
Yeah.
Not like in like a weird, you know, like touchy kind of way, but like, you know, like just like, you know, like just in her face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. But yeah, I mean that is like one of the overall prevalent things about this movie in general is that it really like tackles trafficking in a way, you know, like the what's his name, Dracoff or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the main, you know, the person that runs the Red Room basically picks up stranded like young girls
We're like
and,
abandoned.
you know, yeah, like and you know, puts them to this training. If they live, cool. If they die, they die. You know, and like the entire thing, it's like really interesting because you know that this character treats these things like objects.
Yeah.
But you really don't really like understand the depth of it until really later in the movie, when he's just so callous towards like when he's talking about, you know, the like violence, just in you know, just different types of things that they put the like, you know, they like the different type, like what am I trying to say? It's like that scene where he does like talk about the trainings, and he's like, you know, they live like some lives and come out of it, and
Some die.
the others, they either like, you know, they either don't make it or we kill, you know,
We kill
them because they're weak. And
Yeah.
and it's just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah. You know, he was an intimidating villain. Again, I wish I saw more of. And
I don't know if he necessarily needed to be more. I honestly think you didn't even really necessarily need that villain. Like,
yeah.
but because you obviously know some piece of shit's running the Red Room.
Yeah.
I think it would have been enough to just like to find a way to like theoretically take down the Red Room, but especially because Ray Winston, I think he's like him as an actor, I think was really wasted in that role.
Yeah.
Because it was a really one-dimensional role. It's like, okay, he's just gonna be a guy who yells at women and then eventually
And then
like
does a
tries
long
to hit
monologue.
one, you know, and like, yeah, and it's like
The whole
we get this, but
the whole pheromone thing,
that was weird. That was
I
weird
got
that
it,
that
but
they
it was like trying too hard
definitely
for a cool moment.
Definitely. It was like, okay,
Here's-
how do we make it believable? Like, how do we make it like somewhat believable
Yep.
that Black Widow wouldn't just walk in there and start beating the shit out of this guy?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it was like a device to let him monologue for a bit and then give us a cool, like, oh my god, Natasha broke her own nose.
Yeah. And that was a cool bit though.
It was a
you know,
cool-
like, when she's like looking around, she's like, you know, like basically like,
Yeah.
you didn't hit me hard enough, so now I have to fucking break my nose myself.
I want to briefly mention the direction in this.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hated it a lot of times. It got a bit too Jason Bourne for me.
Yeah. Well, and that
And
yeah.
excluding the last big fight with all the widows ganging up on Black Widow, which was pretty cool, long takes, like a lot of more extended shots. A
Yeah.
lot of the earlier fight scenes were these fucking like you'd tell that they set up like 4 cameras, all outside of line sight of each other, and just did the stunt like 3 times.
Yeah,
And
yeah, pretty
didn't
much.
they were able to settle on not getting perfect shots because they had stuff hyper zoomed in, and you lost the geography of the fight. At some points, specifically, the worst offender was the Yelena and Natasha fight,
Oh, yeah.
where I completely lost the geography of the room at some points. Where it's like, oh, now they're on the ground and somehow they fucking have a curtain wrapped around both necks. Like,
Yeah, it I don't know. It definitely wasn't as clean cut as it could have been.
a lot of but they're like really good clean cut MCU fights. So I'm like, where was this?
What happened
Was this
here?
like a choice? Because you can like the Bourne films do it well, where it is meant to show a level of anxiety and sort of a lack of like cleanness to the fight, where it's just sort of a ruthless do what you can. But in this case, we've already seen Black Widow so efficient in the past. I don't think you need to go for that anxious style of combat or that type of jittery, not very clean style thing, because that's, I feel like, almost outside of her character.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. The only reasoning I can think of it as that kind of works is that she's possibly the most human out of all the characters on the
Yes.
Avengers roster, and something that they point out often in this film.
I can agree with that.
And so in that way, maybe it leans itself into like playing on the off of that. But that's a stretch.
Exactly. I did like them referencing her being the most normal of the group.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, which is, it was awesome, and it was awesome that they really spent the time to like make sure that the world knew that she was was an Avenger at that point. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I think it's just like a really good character thing. But
Yeah. So overall, good, a fine film.
Definitely.
Made-
I really enjoyed it. Like honestly, I'm picking it apart for the sake of picking it apart.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And there's a lot to pick apart because of some of the extremely inherent flaws in it. Mostly because of the meta commentary, not as much because the film is bad.
Well, and I think there's somewhat sort of similar things that happen. I mean, Wonder Woman 84 is fucking garbage, but But part of the reason why I think it immediately was amiss was something Black Widow suffers from. And that's just because like you've been hyped for so long.
Exactly.
And
definitely
you've
agree.
had different expectations for it for year and a half now, and now it's like, all right, and now I've seen it. Like, this is cool.
How do you feel?
know what I mean?
Before we move on to Loki, how do
Loki.
you feel about the post-credit scene?
It was awesome. It was exactly what I thought it was gonna happen at some point. I didn't think it was gonna happen during the movie, but I did remember reading that Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character was supposed
Tessa
to.
Valentina.
She was her original cameo was in Black Widow, and the second one was, in Falcon. It just makes sense, and it further kind of, puts you in that direction of like maybe they're assembling not necessarily a Dark Avengers team, but maybe a Thunderbolts type roster. Where you might be seeing other characters, like maybe Taskmaster comes back through that.
That's what I'm expecting. So she's going after Hawkeye.
Yeah, but that was the other thing. It's like that directly looks like it's gonna spill into the Hawkeye series.
Florence Pugh has been spotted on set of the Hawkeye series,
and that makes sense.
And also notably with the Hawkeye series, so Jeremy Renner is going to be in it. Haley Steinfeld or whatever the fuck her name is going to be in it.
It's like Steinfeld or Seinfeld. I can't
Something like that.
Anyway.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
And then Echo is going to be in it. Echo's getting her own series now. Got greenlit.
Super random.
I guess they greenlit it because she did so well during the series.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fun. There's definitely like a million other characters I'd rather see besides Echo for some reason.
Good for TV.
Sure.
Good for a Disney Plus project.
It might just end up being one of those other Disney, like those other kind of like projects where it's like they announce it, it'll get developed over time.
Exactly. It's probably early.
I don't think it's gonna be rushed into production.
No, it's probably something like we knew Captain Marvel 2 was coming right after Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But it didn't come out like 3 months later.
They announced Blade way too early for some reason, just to get everybody hyped on it, just so you know it exists.
Same thing
And,
with Fantastic
I
Four.
think that's the same thing that they're doing here. Yeah.
It's building hype. Everybody knew that Infinity War was coming like in 2014.
Yeah.
The it's like
But
5 years
yeah,
away.
I think that. I mean, I think it was a good post credit scene, and it, you know, it was interesting to. That was kind of one of the big questions I had, was whether Florence Pugh was going to, you know, be more
Don
involved.
the Mantle.
Well, and I don't know if she's necessarily a good Don the Mantle of Black Widow, or if she's gonna, like, you know, call herself something else or whatever. But, you know, like, it seemed like they were trying to replace Scarlett Johansson in some capacity or another. In
Yeah,
terms
well,
of, like,
she
we
said
need
it
another
herself, she's
action
done.
female, and that's, you know, they found that,
Yeah.
but they've also found, like, another really good, like, she's like, you know, Florence has a really
good actress in
comedic
of herself.
timing, amongst, like, the even, like, dramatic sequences.
Yeah.
She has just really good timing. She has really good. She
I feel like
works
she's
really. And
also-
I've read that she's from other people's interviews that she works really well with other people, and she brings a lot of energy to sets and stuff. So
Yeah.
I bet that also helps.
You know, and I
know?
mean, like, good for Scarlett Johansson for being Black Widow for so long.
Yeah.
But she never really did it for me, acting wise. I feel
mean-
like that was always like the weakest part of the character.
Maybe I think they didn't give They didn't give Black Widow much until culture started pressing it for that in a direction, and then in classic big business fashion, they tried to rewrite her character to be more
Engaging. Yeah.
and
She was underwritten and
yeah.
underperformed.
And I think
in my
if
opinion.
you would have given her the chance to make that character breathe, like they gave other people a chance to make their characters breathe for as long as they did,
Yeah, we would have seen
you
more.
would have seen better stuff.
Probably.
But,
You're probably
but
right.
Black Widow is not. This is the other thing you have to think about. It's like Black Widow is not a major character, even in the context of the
Yeah.
Avengers. She is not a major character.
She's a side
It
player.
was always strange that they included Black Widow and not say, like, fucking Wasp. Who
Yeah,
is
well,
who
Wasp
is,
was
like, a
supposed to be
founding
in
member
Avengers.
of the Avengers, you know, and stuff like that. And so it's like, you know, it was an accessible character for them to need to plug a female character into the roster back in
Yeah.
the day, and then it became a popular character because, like, they were slowly letting her do more and more and more.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, like, some of the fight scenes that she ended up having, like, the choreography that she ended up doing as Black Widow was really fucking cool,
Yeah.
including in this movie. But, you know, yeah, I don't know. It's not like that. How do I say it? It's just not a character that I'm, like, super invested
Me
in
either.
watching grow, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If it had happened earlier, I probably would have been down.
Yeah. Like,
but
I'm way more interested in She-Hulk than I will
Yeah.
ever be in Black Widow.
fresh slate, you know?
what I mean?
I'm way more interested in Kamala Khan. That doesn't
Totally. Like,
it doesn't make me regret that they made a Black Widow movie.
No, not
But
at all.
it definitely is something I can take away from it.
Yeah, I'm glad they made one. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like, I think that was a really fun espionage backstory to explore. But I don't think, like, yeah, I didn't.
I don't think it'll have much staying
You
power.
didn't need another espionage story. You know, like, okay, let's go back into her
I know.
backstory.
But I don't think I don't think that these I really don't think that they should do these prequel stories about characters that have already been retired.
No,
You know, if
yeah, no, definitely not.
so it's like because I heard them talking about that and I was like, oh fuck. Like imagine like a Tony Stark prequel.
They're gonna-
Pre-Iron Man.
I mean, well, and that's exactly it. It's like, it just doesn't.
It cheapens the character.
Nobody
sometimes.
wants to see that. Next thing you know, you're gonna start hearing announcements about Hugh Jackman coming back for a prequel Wolverine movie.
Jacqueline. So
How?
on to moving characters back in time.
Loki.
Loki.
I forgot up until today that Loki actually only had 6 episodes.
Yeah. Fuck man.
This season. So I've only seen 5 episodes up to episode 5 right now.
We're gonna go. I want to go completely non-spoiler on this, and then we could just fucking dive into. Knowing what I know, next podcast we should just talk about Loki.
Fair enough.
because
Yeah, it probably will be. This
It will change the game
Interesting.
for the future of the MCU. So I want us to go. You've watched 5. I've watched 6.
Yeah.
Non-spoiler thoughts. Go, Jared.
Well, I mean, you know, for sure, like, episode 5 was the best episode so far.
Yeah.
It was, like, seeing the different types of Lokis was obviously, like, one of the main things you were looking forward to. But, you know, it was just interesting to see, like, the continued world building in this.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, you think as you're getting wrapped up in a series so that you kind of, like, you know the world, you have, like, the parameters, and you're coming towards the conclusion. But this, like, honestly, that episode, like, really just, like, stepped up what you didn't know about the MCU, basically. You know, like
Yeah.
like you find out that the characters that get, you know, erased from the timeline just get shifted to like this point near the end of time, and where there's this giant this giant matter eating cloud that like
Yeah,
you know
from Lost.
Alioth or whatever his name is, and like
Eliath.
all
Alioth.
the off like, but you know, like, and it's a really interesting concept, just that alone. And then, you know, you introduce like the different Lokis. Classic Loki was obviously my favorite.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You know, just because he was
I was
so
an alligator
badass,
Loki,
dude.
man.
Just like near the end of that episode when he was like pulling off his fucking enchantments or whatever, and
He
was just,
created
like,
Asgard.
dude, it was so dope though.
It was
and,
badass.
and you know, and like him yelling right before like the end there, you know,
Laughing and
it was
crying.
a glorious purpose.
It was
Like,
awesome.
and like it was just cool. It was a cool moment because you're like, damn, dude, like. So for whatever that dude's journey is, like he found his moment, you know, his
Exactly.
purpose right there.
It was one
And-
episode, but Richard E. Grant sold it.
Oh, sold it. And then they ended up doing, because of that episode, they ended up releasing all these character posters because they are all so popular. But you know, in that episode, you finally saw President Loki, which
Yeah,
was
for-
like a character you saw dropped in like the trailers early on.
I didn't realize it was gonna not be our Loki.
Very brief Loki.
Yeah, got his hand bit off by alligator Loki.
Yeah, dude, that was funny. But yeah, I mean, overall, really great episode. Chris Hemsworth apparently showed
Voiced
up for
Throg.
Throg, yeah.
Yeah, Throg.
You know, yeah, and
You see the Thanos copter?
yeah, I did.
Did you see the head of the Living Tribunal?
Oh my god, no, I missed that though.
Dude, it's there.
That's fucking wild. And that's why I went, before I watched it, I read that they were like they try to jam all these like kind of cool nods in
Do
there
you
and
know
stuff like that.
that Avengers Tower wasn't Avengers Tower?
It looked like it had the name of one of Kang the Conqueror's
Quang.
like subsidies or something like that.
Yeah.
He owns. Which
nuts.
again like, sort of leads you to believe that like there is going to be some connection between Ant-Man 3 and what happened in this series.
So, without spoiling anything,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give my take
Yeah,
on
give me your
the whole
non-spoilers
series.
on episode 6 in the series.
This series changes the game and will dramatically shift what we expect for the future of the MCU. And it is a surprisingly understated finale that works, and it fucking exercises and uses that awesome writing that we've seen through the series.
Yeah.
And it is not a loud finale, it is a smart one.
Okay.
And it makes the series, it's the best. So WandaVision was good, but it sort of fizzled out in the end with a very mediocre stumble over the finish line. Falcon the Winter Soldier had good moments, but was definitely the weakest of the 3 series so far.
For sure.
Loki fucking sticks the landing and sets up so much shit without having to have overt mentions of characters like Doctor Strange, or without having to plug large teasers in. It just sets the stage for the future in a way that blew my fucking mind and had my jaw on the floor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it, man. Jesus.
And it definitely gives me, it's the strongest show so far, and it, in my opinion, when you're comparing it to the movies, gets up there in like the high MCU like productions.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the higher regarded stuff.
Dang.
Yeah, and it ended in such a way that it, like, the finale always will sort of shape how you feel about something.
Yeah.
WandaVision's finale sort of sucked, and the show suffered for it, even if the rest of it was really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Loki was pretty good all the way through, at worst. It made it, and having a really good finale has, like, cemented in my mind that, like, oh, this shit's really good.
Fair enough. Well, and they greenlit it for season 2, which is
Yes.
also helpful.
And you
to
will
note.
know what the fuck is happening in season 2 by the end of it. It's fucking nuts, man.
Interesting.
It is an earth-shattering revelation.
Huh. What the fuck, dude? Now
I know.
really want to
So,
watch it, man.
but we were talking about this before recording.
yeah.
We're gonna do a matinee edition post credits where
Yeah.
Jared's gonna watch it tonight and then hop on and quickly give his some thoughts.
Give my hot take right afterwards.
Go full spoiler on it, man.
I probably honestly
And
will
then-
have to.
Just like a few minutes, because then we can milk a podcast next week with just that.
Fair enough, man. All right. Well, then I say we leave it there, man. Let's let's
Leave them hanging.
leave the hot dogs with something to expect.
Stay till the end of the baseline, fellas.
There'll be a post-credit scene today.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah, shit, man. I'm looking forward to watching that. Like, I'm just in general, I'm looking forward to what the MCU's future is. You know, like there's
As am I.
always they're always building now at this point now, and it's like we're getting right into this moment where there's like all these characters about to be brought forth. You know, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, fucking
Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan. You know, we got like we're really
America
starting
Chavez.
we're really starting to dig into like magical aspects of this, as well as like different scientific aspects of the MCU, and I don't know, man. It's just it's really at this fun point, and it just
Yeah.
reminds me so much of comics, where it's just like they push you and push you and push you to keep believing more.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're just like fuck, dude, like I'm in, like I'm just
Yeah.
like what's next, and like
You know,
it's really fun, man. It's
And
really
surprisingly, the MCU has managed to not cheapen the more lower stakes in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
like stories, like Falcon the Winter Soldier,
Well,
like
exactly.
Black Widow.
Exactly. They're still very much valued. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Like they're not just like these like throwaway projects. They
Yeah.
are they are entertaining, and they push in their own ways, but they're also like I don't know, dude. It's just the MCU, man. They're just always building, like I said. Like,
Yeah.
and like with every piece of work, it's another building block to the next. You know what I mean? And that's what's so fucking cool about it.
Ooh, there's one thing I can say, and this isn't. I guess it might. If it is a spoiler by excluding a character, then it counts. It's not Kang.
Fair enough.
So, but that'll get you thinking.
Staring off,
Emoting
space,
on an
trying to figure
audio
out.
on an audio platform. So, I'm intrigued to see. I want you to. Yeah, you're gonna do that. Make sure you text me tonight because I will.
I'll text you that.
Because we'll be able to go back and forth, just like what the fuck.
That would be weird, man. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here then, Hot Dog. 78 for you. Come back for 79 because we're gonna have so much more to talk about, especially about Loki.
Stay till the end of the credits for the post-credits scene.
Exactly, man. All right. Well, I think that's just about it for me.
Pew 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 pew.
So I just finished watching the season finale of Loki, and holy shit, oh my god, there was so much epicness in this last episode. I don't want to give any spoilers, because we're gonna do that on the next episode, but holy shit, Jonathan Majors brought it. I was not expecting not King the Conqueror. And I just wasn't expecting it to be as big of an ending as it was. Holy shit. Definitely go finish watching that series if you haven't already. And tune back into the next episode of Matinee Edition, because we are going to break that shit down.